What's going on, AfterBuzz family? You knocked and we are buzzing you in. It's time for another episode of Married to Medicine Los Angeles. Tonight, we've got property, babies, and Barbies coming up next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Bounce
Hey.
it.
Bounce,
Bounce it. Woo! We made it to another week of Married to Medicine, Los Angeles, Los Angeles, Los Angeles. I'm gonna sing my own song if I can't get any music.
She said, I'm the music.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of AfterBuzz TV presents Married to Medicine LA. I am your lead host, McCall Hall, and I have a very lovely co-host to my left, Sierra.
Yes, hey,
Her
guys.
beat is automatic, supersonic, hypnotic.
Funky fresh. Hey guys, it's me, Sierra Stanford. We're back here. We're ready for our second episode, or third really, so we're going to get into it.
Your hair looks very nice.
Thank
I
you.
like
Yours
that. And
too.
your nails are looking all nice.
Bright, I'm feeling the spring vibes,
You've got a lot of fashion sense. I'm not the fashion girl.
goodness. Oh, goodness.
She's the fashion girl. I'm just like,
Listen, she was running late because her hair was getting laid. Listen, so that should tell you a lot.
just cut me a little slack here. Cut me a little slack. Not only is Sierra a fashion guru, she's also a social media guru. So why don't you share with the folks what we're going to be
Yes.
doing moving forward with your social media expertise?
Okay, so moving forward, before we move on to our next topic, of course, we just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. And of course, we love you guys. You're our biggest #1 fans, but we need your help to make us continue to grow. So please go subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. All the YouTube channels, not just ours as well as Spotify, iTunes, and give us those 5-star ratings. We love those and we love you guys. So make sure you leave comments down below, and thank you for loving us, and we'll love you back.
Indeed, give us 5 of them things. 5 of them
Five.
things. 5 of them things.
You need like the DJ
pew.
that thing.
So what's going on with the social media editions that we're going to be doing with your cell phone? You're going to be checking.
So yeah, we're gonna just read live comments. So if you're tuning in now, just please talk with us, communicate back with us, and we'll read you out and shout you out.
All right, cool. So she'll be handling that. I will not. I typically have my computer with me, and it's just hard to go in between all these different chats. But I'm working off of 2 phones tonight. She's got her phone. We're going to make it happen, Cap'n.
Yes.
Sierra, Black Barbie. No, I'm just playing.
Oh God.
How are we feeling about tonight's episode, just off top?
Honestly, I feel better. I think 'cause now I know the girls a little better now. I can kind of gauge what's gonna happen. This, that, and the third. It took a turn a little bit in the Barbie dollhouse theme, I guess, because I didn't think it was gonna turn so serious, But it was cool. So I like that we see more of the girls this episode.
I will agree. Last week this was our first opportunity to kind of watch this show and become familiar with these women. I think I had a little bit of prejudgment, which I'm working on that. You have to allow someone to show them who they are, right? Not just judge them by their cover. I learned a lot more this episode about the ladies, and I appreciate them doing that character development tonight.
Yeah.
So, I kind of looked at the episode as a whole. I picked up on a few themes. Number one, property. Property is a big theme tonight, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. The next one is babies. Definitely babies. We got to talk about babies. And finally, Barbies.
Interesting.
I don't know. I got to be honest. In all the seasons of me covering Married to Medicine in this franchise, I never thought I'd have to talk about Black women doctors and Barbies in the same episode.
Yeah.
Kind of threw me off. So let's get into it. Property discussion. So a couple of things that we're going to talk about tonight with property. Number one, Dr. Britton and her husband are currently living separate lives with the hope of coming back together to be one big happy family. They have a couple of kids, but he's on the East Coast, she's on the West Coast. She's got her practice going, and she's doing very well, but they need to be all in one place. One of the big issues that came up tonight is the fact that it's really expensive to live here in LA. I've been here for 10 years. My rent is insane. I really want to buy a house, and I'm trying my hardest to get that down payment together and buy this house. But damn, it's so hard to save when you're spending $7,000 a month in rent. I'm not spending $7,000, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
It feels like $7,000 a month. But anywho, so Sierra, share with me what was your reaction to their conversation about living in the same place and some of the obstacles that they're having kind of coming to agreement?
Well, thus far with the time gap that it has been, it's kind of shocking to see that they're just now coming to what type of home they really are looking for. Because it's like she's been out here for years now looking for something. He's like, that's not even what I'm looking for. So
There's a disconnect.
Yeah, and she did say the communication, but it's like, how could the communication been lost if the plan was to move out here to find us something? So I feel like that's something that should have been well thought out, talked about.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of like, okay. So she was like, basically, let me start over and let me relook. Like it's like a game or something.
Yeah.
Like, let's start from jump. Let's 3 steps. What's the Monopoly?
Right.
Start,
go
pass,
back to go.
Yeah, like this is a game or go back to go type of deal. So, I mean, I'm just over it already, and it just started. But I just like find a house, move there soon, and we kind of mentioned that. I think she finally feels comfortable with them being apart, that she's like, ooh, am I really in a rush to get this house for us?
Right.
Or, can I push it off? But then again, I believe how we see her as a woman, that I really do feel like she wants to be with her family, especially her kids. But it's like, I feel like it's a lot of excuses. I feel like it's not that hard, especially for them and their bank to find a house.
Right. So we had the opportunity of seeing their home on the East Coast. It's Orlando, correct?
Yeah,
I think it's
Florida,
Orlando.
yeah.
They have a nice place.
Really
Very
nice.
nice home. If you're trying to get something like that here in LA proper, it's going to cost a lot more.
We're going to shoot up
the ladder to the roof.
I mean, but the locations he said, like Calabasas, he knows that's a high area. So, I mean.
Right. I just feel like what he wants, he's not going to be able to find it right here in LA. Not for that price. He's going to have to go south. He's going to have to go to like maybe a Cerritos. He's talking Calabasas. I don't think they can afford Calabasas for what he wants.
Listen.
Just being perfectly
Yeah.
honest. But again, I'm not here to count their pocketbooks. I think the bigger concern that I personally have is the fact that, to your point, why are you guys just now having this conversation?
Like,
why is it so delayed? But it reminds me of another Married to Medicine legend, Dr. Simone and Cecil, North House and South House.
That's crazy.
Why are we having housing issues on a show about gainfully employed doctors?
Or being closer to work, so y'all just can't meet in the middle, or find, or maybe some people don't want to relocate. Like maybe she wants to keep that house and don't want to sell it or move out of it. So she's like, let me just get another one closer to the house.
I think what's going on is the same thing I said about Dr. Simone in Atlanta. When you are a woman and you're very busy, and I'm saying this as a very busy woman, I do not have kids in my home. I have a significant other, but I tell him to take his, back to his place most of the time. I like my space. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just want to come home and decompress. And I think she's grown so used to it, just like Dr. Simone. She doesn't want to go back to this house full of dogs, cats, and children, and, all this crying and tears. I think she's become comfortable with this distance. Mm-hmm. It helps her, in my opinion,
relieve stress.
I don't think she'd ever say this on the show, but I truly believe that Dr. Britton works her best and is most productive when she's in a home where she can really get that kind of rest and rejuvenation. I think that's what's going on. The other thing that we got to look at, because we're talking about character development, she was in the Army.
Oh, and she showed that a lot.
So she strikes me as the type where it's like, I gotta feel like I'm living in my purpose and I'm in charge and I don't need a lot of hoopla around me. She's very stringent about things.
Yeah.
I think that's also playing into it.
I get that, but it's like you still have a husband and kids at the end of the day, so you have to sacrifice or kind of adjust that. So I get that's what you're used to, you're comfortable with, but you took a whole other type of vow when you got married and when you had them kids. So, and the vow wasn't to leave us in Florida and you come live your best life in LA.
No, not at all.
That's just not what we planned.
Not at all.
So they need to speed up the process.
I'm gonna need y'all to get your fluorescent life together.
Speed it up. I don't care what the situation is. You got the money. We don't know how much, but it's enough to where find a house. That's just how I look at it. It's just straight tunnel vision for me. Find a house. There's no way y'all should be this split up for this long. I don't care what the comfortable level is. It's just time.
Find a house. Be fluorescent together. That's my advice to you and my hope.
And we'll find what's in your budget and make it work. As long as you're in the same state at this point, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So moving on to the next housing situation. And again, we're not going in order of what happened on the show. I just want you guys to understand. We are going by the themes and some of the overarching issues. Next thing, Jasmine, Barbie extraordinaire, has a very nice home. I don't know what part of town that's in.
Too nice, but okay.
Because she doesn't have a lot of yard and space. I mean, her neighbors are right next to her.
Literally.
So I don't know what part of town that could be. I think it's more on the west side. I don't know. But it's not like out in the burbs, like Calabasas with sprawling acreages and all that.
Or where it's kind of more secluded off or something.
Right.
It did look like a rapper's house. Somebody mentioned, this is P. Diddy. It was Asha. She was like, is this P. Diddy's house? It looked like rapper money.
It looked like, maybe not rapper money, because Imani referred to it as a drug dealer style house. But it looks like it looks like new money. Okay, so there's a difference.
Fresh new money.
Fresh new money.
Fresh new money. So this is recent coming in.
Right. You know, the Bentley sitting outside. You've got this big grandiose entrance and this
it's just them.
gaudy furniture. The two things that hit me when I was watching this. Number one, they're new money. Like, clearly neither one of them really have a concept of like what
Investing.
real wealth looks like and classy, tasteful decorating. And that's just my opinion, okay?
I agree.
And I say that as somebody who grew up in a very nice part of Seattle in a very nice home overlooking the water. Like, I know what nice homes look like, right? This looks like either you just came into some money and you went to Bob's Furniture and bought all the gaudy stuff you could find, or you are renting this home and it's not yours. You got something fully furnished.
Yeah, because
there are no decorator touches.
It's not. It really, nothing was
All
different
those
about
white
it.
walls.
Not even that. It looks like they bought the home like that, or if they did, like it was already free furniture, free.
But I don't even think they bought it. I think
that too. Yeah,
I think
that
they're
too, yeah.
renting it. I think that number one, some of the other ladies mentioned they have only known Jasmine for a year. They've never met her husband, for crying out loud.
And that's odd.
I would say so.
And then every time we ask, oh, he's at work, but she got really defensive. He's at work. He works at 7 a.m. He has to go to bed at 2. Like, gave a whole synopsis.
Like, girl,
Sis,
we all understand we're all doctors and are connected to that community.
Once you have to go that deep into it, it's already a red flag. Like, I just said where he was at, not his whole biography.
Right. Like,
so you're just telling me right now you're giving it away.
I don't need his itinerary. I
don't.
I get it because I do the same thing. So it struck me as odd, right? Do you think that what do you think Jasmine's trying to prove
that she can
with
hang
this
with the
house,
big dogs?
If it's not hers, or if there's something about this home that is revealed, either they don't own it, they're renting it, something weird. What do you think she's trying to prove?
That she can hang. I feel like she wants the lifestyle. Obviously, she's with the doctor. She wants the money, obviously. Look at the type of theme party she throws. The whole dollhouse and the glitz and the... So this is the lifestyle she wants. So, of course, she's going to do whatever it takes to perceive it. And she's on a show. True. She can't be staying in Inglewood.
I mean, she could. Why not?
She could, yes, but she knows...
Property value in Inglewood is sky high. My sorority sister's home tripled in value with the arena.
But, the whole just image of it all, she's probably like, I can't do that. So let me do what looks good for TV, let me get my rate, whatever she wants to do up. And her friend, Shanique, she lives nice. So maybe she, try to keep up with her. You never know.
I think it's corny, and I think it's
very much so.
If there's any kind of revelation about this home, and it's like, oh, it's not really their house or something like that, I won't be surprised because Jasmine just strikes me as a phony kind of person, to be perfectly honest.
And seeing some of her family, I was kind of happy to kind of see like how is she, like how does she come from them? Her mom didn't give me the whole. How Jazz acts. She didn't give me that vibe, but then again, it's like who knows. But the family kind of helped, I would say. But we still have more to see, though.
I think we have more to see.
We have way more to see.
Definitely more to see. So, kind of an intersection, not quite the baby talk, but I do want to talk about Shanique and her little doctor. What is his name?
Her little doctor.
What is little doctor?
Rob.
Little Rob.
Robert?
Black Rob?
I think they call him Rob. I think his real name is Robert.
Like, whoa. Let's talk about the dinner
Like
conversation. So a couple of things were revealed in this as we're kind of transferring from the baby's situation. I want to talk about Asha's party incident, going to Shanique's home for this birthday party, seeing the ex-girlfriend of your now husband of some years. You guys are, almost 40.
2 years.
I think he's right around there as well. They're grown. They are grown. So there was an issue with having this ex at the party. Little doctor mentioned they hang out with this girl quite a bit. This young lady dated her husband all throughout med school and residency, and then he dumped her 2 months before.
And they said that was normal to happen.
It is normal
in the medical field.
It's
a
very
normal thing to
normal.
do.
It is very normal, and it brings up a oh God, I wish we had more time to really unpack this. Give me your opinion about building a man or being with a man during those very foundational points of his life and career, because we see this happen a lot in different areas, not just doctors. I mean, we're talking about NBA players
or just even basic us.
Right. Like, I mean, we're talking, you have a young lady who's been with a guy in college, he couldn't afford to eat, and then he gets to the NBA and dumps her, right? Like, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that?
I mean, straight to the point. I mean, the normal how you would feel like it. I mean, it's messed up. It is messed up. But it's one of those things, it's like, just because you have to learn too, although the situation is messed up, you have to learn that that person appreciates you through the downs. So therefore, they don't even deserve you when you're up or when they're up. So it's kind of like you just have to let it. I mean, it sucks, but let it be, you know. And maybe I'll have to say, maybe God put you in that person's life for a reason at that time. Y'all just need each other for that time in your life. But that doesn't mean you're meant to be with each other forever. That was just the timing for it all.
There's an old saying: some people come in your life for a season, a reason, or just to simply be a lesson.
Oh yeah,
right?
something like, basically sum it up. So it's one of those. It's like, it sucks, yeah, but it's. Maybe you just needed him through school. You just need, you know, like, I just need you to be there with me through school.
Well, a couple other things are creating red flags, right? As I'm learning more about these characters, this is what it's all about, learning about these characters. Number one, your husband left this young lady 2 months before he graduated and got done with residency. Corny. He's now corny. He's now making a decent wage. We don't know what kind of bills they have.
They're acting like it ain't decent, but okay.
Well, everybody's got bills. I mean, you can't always count somebody's pocketbook. People have outgo. So I don't want to jump that gun. I don't want to jump that gun. But they do make enough to have a decent home and whatnot. Yeah. But he left this other young lady before residency. He's now at a place in his life where we all think he could have a baby, and he's dancing around the subject matter. Do you believe that he is committed to Asha? Like, seriously committed? Or was Asha a prize to be had? Because I'm starting to pick up on something.
What's the prize?
So here's my theory.
Not trying to be funny.
Maybe I pose this the wrong way. Maybe I'm just really want to give my opinion on this, and you can chime in and tell me I'm crazy. I believe that this gentleman got through school with this young lady, and then he said, I'm moving to LA, because she moved to LA for him. This guy gets to LA, he meets Asha. She's this young, bubbly, future, Hollywood A-list celebrity, because she's an actress, okay? He was like, I'm going to kick this old thing to the curb, because she's going to be overworked, overstressed. We're going to be doing the same thing. She's going to be as stressed as I am, right? When we get into our professional family lives, we're not going to be able to be happy. I want somebody who's fun, who I can go travel with, who, doesn't connect with my world. Yeah. That's what he wanted, right? But he always wants the next best thing, and I think that's why he doesn't want to commit to her, because in my opinion, he
ain't done.
He's not done. He hasn't, and this is early, episode 3. He hasn't found his forever yet.
And I'm gonna just only say this now. I don't like to speak on no one's relationship. I really don't.
If you put it on TV, I can speak on it.
But I was just about to say that. But it's visual, so I have to say, I don't know if it's just me, but when you watch them, I don't feel moved. Like, I don't feel like, ooh, they're in love. Like, when I watch Dr. Brin and her man, I can tell that it's some love there, even though they in the same house.
It's a very bright, fluorescent love.
You can still see that they still here. We see each other.
And I like Dr. Britton more and more and more. I will say that. I know I make jokes, but I actually am really a fan
of hers. Or like
hers.
Dr. Money and her husband. Like, you can tell that they're here. When I watch Asha, and I do love Asha, I do love her separately. But when I watch them together, I'm not moved. I feel like he's not really there. I feel like he's just there because he knows he should be there, but not because he's just deep there.
Right.
So I'm with you. I'm not feeling the vibe.
Right.
And it's only episode 3, and that's a problem.
So what we find out at the end of episode 3, because again, we're not going in order of the show, we're just going by overarching themes. Yeah. Somebody suggests, Shanique suggests, Asha knew that this young lady was going to be there. Now, this is where I kind of had to do a head tilt to the ladies. They said, well, if Asha knew that the young lady was going to be at the party, why did she go? And I think Dr. Britton said this. She said, I wouldn't have gone. BS. I would be there. I'd be snatched for the gods, laid for the gods, I think for the gods.
She only left though because what they're trying to create. I don't think she left because she was there. You remember, because Dr. Helen was like, "Come on, let's go talk to her." So I think she wasn't with what they're trying to stir up. I think if it was just known everybody was in their own little corner, she would have been fine.
But regardless of that, you have other women in your social circle questioning why you would show up if you knew the young lady was going to be there. That is a bigger.
Well, this is prior. Remember, we didn't know that she
but,
knew till today.
Right.
Yeah.
But even that conversation, why wouldn't you go to the party if you knew that your ex's or your man's ex was going to be there? Like, what difference does it make? I'm married to him now. We bought a house together. If we sell this, we're splitting it, or whatever the prenup is. Like, I have financial gain with him. You don't.
And that's how I looked at it.
I wouldn't be offended to be around my man's ex.
It might be, and it's like, I understand it being awkward, but not to the point to where, I gotta leave the party because I'm still here for my friend. I didn't come for you. I came for them. So I can literally act like you're not there and enjoy myself.
But I would act like you're there. I'd send you a drink. I go, you want me to make you a plate? I'd be in your face.
Oh, well,
because
see,
what do I have to be mad about?
It's not a point of being mad because I'm not gonna walk up and just mug you. I'm not saying like that, but it's like I don't have to be in your space in order to show that I'm okay with you being there. I don't have to. That's just me though. I'm not gonna be in your face. It's not a problem if I'm not in your face. I'm just keeping my distance.
True.
I can be cordial without being in your.
And I'm being extreme. I'm not saying you have to
You're
be in their
petty?
face either. I'm just.
I think you've been petty.
It's Sunday. I can admit it. It's Sunday. I just think we have, just as women, it's like we have a girl chat right now. We got to stop doing this. Oh, well, if my man's ex is here, I can't be there. I can't be around certain people. Get over it.
Yeah, that.
Get
yeah,
over it.
I'm gonna be there.
Get over it.
You're gonna feel me and see me, okay?
Get over it. And the
But
thing
yeah.
about it, if anybody has a bone to pick, it's that young lady. She was left. She was bamboozled, hoodwinked into moving to this dang overpriced city for him.
It's still there.
And it's still there. And is she married?
And that's the sad part. You left with somebody and not even with them. So it's kind of like now you're alone. You could have stayed where you was at.
She could have stayed where she was at. So
If anybody's hurt, she should.
and there's part of me that believes, being
She's on
perfect,
the story.
she's still hanging on. That's why she's still in their friendship circle. She's still hanging on.
Maybe they introduced her because she's part of the storyline that's going to unravel.
Maybe. Dr. Larry.
Y'all done
or
introduced
whatever
her in the
his name
third
is.
episode? Is she going to be part of the storyline? We shall see.
I'm saying, because something about that is odd.
Because y'all just had to make that known. It was about his party, but it became about her. I forgot we were at a party.
Right. So speaking of parties, let's move forward because we are running out of time here. But
Yeah.
the Barbie brunch, I was expecting to see Nicki Minaj there. It is LA. Here's my whole thing about
They're
franchises.
already renting the house, so and they having Nicki now.
I feel you.
that.
Here's my thing about franchises. You got to be really careful with franchises. I love Married to Medicine. I've always loved Married to Medicine because there was an authenticity about these African American women who were a part of the medical field or married to men in the medical field. They had a level of class and distinction and decorum that I really liked, even though they mixed it with the ratchet and the trash because it is TV. But they had a certain level of maturity, right? They had a certain level of maturity. The one thing that I'm starting to already figure out about this franchise, this branch of it is a little too LA. Right? That party felt like something I should have seen on Love and Hip Hop. Not a party not on Married to Medicine. Not a party with women who are doctors who have put themselves through many years of school.
But notice the one that threw it was not a doctor.
Exactly.
And notice that the doctors that did show up was like, what the heck is this? So, although true, the doctors that were there were still not with it. I can see if they're all like, ooh, dolls, let's all go. But no, they were not with it, okay? It was just the nun doctor, Jasmine, her tea.
Yeah.
That was her cup of tea.
Yeah. So Jasmine, I wasn't totally a fan of her last episode, and I'm becoming less of a fan of her this episode. She claimed towards the end of the brunch that she had this idea for the Barbie. The purpose of this party was to open up the dialogue about Western beauty standards, right? I'm calling BS. I think she's quick.
BS.
I think she's quick.
She's quick on her feet for sure.
She's quick on her feet because that
she's
was one
super quick.
hell of an explanation
She
and
was not
cover
going to
up.
go up against what Dr. Noel said. She was not. Well, who else said something? Dr. Noel.
Every one of them.
Asha said something. So her response had to be something. She couldn't fight against that. What she's going to say?
Right.
Oh no, that's not true. Barbies don't do that. Like she knew what she was doing.
I just think it's insulting to have a party about Barbies and dolls when, women who accomplish incredible things in their lifetime, we do not aspire to be an inanimate piece of plastic. with some hair on its head. Like, I could go buy some hair and put it on my head. I'd rather do that with my time.
And she didn't even look like a doll herself. Let me just put it out there that no one looked like a doll. It was themed a doll, and no one looked like a doll. So
Nobody.
you can just show that they're like, what? I'm too grown to dress like
Too
a doll.
grown.
This is not Halloween. This is no.
Too grown.
Too grown.
Way too grown. But what did you feel about the conversations that they had about Western beauty standards and whatnot being on the show?
I love that they took it at that angle. I was not expecting it. I thought it was going to be like a whole drummified Asha, Shanique, what's her name, her showdown. But it totally changed the perspective. And I was like, okay, I'm glad that we got to see that. It kind of gave information, to people that watch it, about dolls and how people view them and, for kids to see and stuff like that. So I think it was a good platform for sure to say that. And I'm glad they kind of put Jasmine in her place a little bit.
Sierra, I really like you. And so please don't take offense to what I'm going to say. I disagree completely with every bit of your statement. And not because...
Wait, with what they did?
I don't like that we had that conversation on TV. I think we've had it enough. And I think their audience... The Married to Medicine franchise is very much rooted in African-American culture. Yeah. So who are you educating with this conversation? Hell, we all know this.
Oh, you said
right?
Like
who are you educating right now? There aren't well, I would imagine there aren't a lot of white women just flocking to this show to tune in every week, right? And even if there were, these are concerns for African-American women. So white women aren't even concerned with that. In my opinion, I don't know why you would project. It's just like airing your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's a fine line and a way to do it. I would say on a show called Married to Medicine, let's stick to saving lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to go into these deep... They did something about race last season on Married to Medicine in Atlanta. They did the trace your roots back to Africa. I thought that was great because that's taking race and identity to
Something
another level.
yeah.
That's going beyond what we know of our American Black history. We're going deeper. I thought that was great. But this surface level, been done 1.5 million times before. Like,
Barbie dolls.
We get it. Like, and I appreciate Dr. Noel sharing that her daughter had an aversion to brown skinned dolls with curly hair. I'm glad that they talked about that and she was able to break down those barriers and rebuild this young lady. That's dope. But it's been done. It's been done. Like, Go ahead. I'm sorry. I can
agree.
ramble. No, go ahead.
Because I was going to say, that's why I said it. It kind of took me for a turn. I did not expect the party to turn into like a kumbaya, let me stick up for what I believe type of moment. So it did take a turn. And I'm pretty sure she thought her party was not going to do that. But, they made up for it at the end with the whole picture walk and everyone looked cute. That was kind of empowering.
Shout out to the producers and the writers of this show. I see what you guys did there. I don't believe for one second that any of this was just happenstance. I think the producers wanted it to kind of play out that way.
It was
to the producers of Married to Medicine LA. We've been rocking with Married to Medicine, the franchise, for a while. Like, let's push the envelope. Like, this I want to see better as this evolves.
Yeah.
I really love the show, but I want to see a more
Too late. It's already
robust. Right?
Right.
I know. I'm curious to find out what's going to happen moving forward. So with that, why don't we do some predictions? I want to find out.
And now,
this is some tough predictions. I'm going to let you go.
Predictions.
So Sierra.
Yes, I don't know.
What's going to happen next week?
You go. I'm
Property, baby, or Barbie thoughts for next week. Anything that's going to transfer over
next week specifically?
Or just in the future. It could be 3 episodes down the line. But what did you see tonight that you can predict for a future episode?
I'm just going to sum it up based off our topics of property, babies, and the, what's the last one?
Barbies.
Property-wise, I do believe that they are going to find a house together. I do believe that. It's going to happen. Baby-wise, I think that they're going to continue to work on the baby, but something's going to happen with the whole Shanice situation that the baby's going to be put on hold, and it might not ever happen. I don't want to speak that, but, that's that. And then the whole Barbie situation, we're just going to continue to see plastic Jasmine just roaming up that way. Yeah, we're going to reveal the plastic that she really is for. That's how I see that one. I'm sorry, straight to it.
The plastic or the plastic ingredients in the drugs,
all that,
like the meth
it's all
containers.
fake.
I don't know. I'm talking crap. Prediction for me next week and or future episodes. I I think we're going to find out a little bit more about why Dr. Imani's husband is so anti her father. And I'm going to give you my prediction why he's so anti her father. And I want to talk about this deeper, but we don't have that much time. The reason why I believe Dr. Imani's husband is very anti her reconnecting with her dad, remember, Dr. Imani's son is not his child. He made a decision as a man. Not only am I going to marry you, I'm marrying your son too. Like, he's going to be mine. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So for him, he's probably thinking, I'm taking care of this young man as if he were my own. How could you walk away and be this much of a jerk to a child that you actually produced? I think a few things are going on here. I think that Dr. Imani's husband has no respect for her dad because he's stepping up as a father to her kid. I also believe that Dr. Imani's husband doesn't want to hear this mess with her because I think that he believes the man's going to let her down. You let him back in, and he's going to go start snorting coke or whatever he's doing again and let you down. And then I have to hear about it when I told you I didn't want you bringing him around.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. And I think we're going to see more of that play out this season. I don't know if it's going to be next week, but it's going to play out.
It's going to drag out a little bit more, yeah.
Definitely.
And
so.
I can back that up. I can back him up for that, for sure.
I can too. I think, Dr. Imani, look, if you want to be around your dad, understand, you have a husband now. And I'm rambling. I know we got to go, but you have a husband. A man, in my opinion, does lead the household. So you need to respect your husband. You really do.
Not even that. You said you met him. Y'all talked at 29. It's been how many years now? You still haven't met him face to face? That should be a sign.
Last time Dr. Imani talked to her daddy, she had hair. I'm just saying, like, it's,
she was 11, yeah. And she did text him, and he said, I have to think about it.
There's nothing to think about.
There's nothing to think about. So that wraps that up, guys.
And that wraps up this week's episode of AfterBuzz TV presents Married to Medicine. I am McCall Hall, and you can find me on social media at the McCall Hall of Fame. And Sierra, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me everywhere on my social media at Sierra Stafford, and of course on my other show next week. Was the actually finale over on that show as well. So next Thursday, Growing Up Hip Hop. Okay, so bye guys.
Hey, find us on AfterBuzz TV across the board, and don't forget, give us 5 stars.
All
5 of them things. Take care, and we'll see you next Sunday. Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.